to the course on emerging domain in electronics engineering. So, in the last lecture we have seen the working of p-n junction diode, the construction and the characteristics of a normal p-n junction diode. Now, in this lecture we will see the diode equivalent circuit and the breakdown effect. So, first is the diode equivalent circuit. So, why the equivalent circuits are required? So, equivalent circuit is basically a combination of elements properly selected to be best suited as per the terminal characteristics. So, for a p-n junction diode we want the equivalent circuit so that we can replace that equivalent into the desired circuit. So, in other words we can say the equivalent circuit is defined as a device symbol that can be removed from a systematic and the equivalent circuit inserted in place without affecting the actual behavior of the system. So, the equivalent circuit further we have categorized, we can learn the equivalent circuit in three different manners. First is the piecewise linear model, after that we will see the simplified model, and after that we will see the ideal approximation. So, in most of the numericals we can use the simplified model, but for the power supplies we can use the ideal approximation. So, what is the diode equivalent corresponding to the piecewise linear method? So, we can see that this is a p-n junction diode and this is the direction of current ID. So, the diode can be replaced by its equivalent by a battery of let us say Vk, a resistance Rav which denotes average resistance, and the ideal diode. So, why we have selected these components as the equivalent for the diode? Because let us say we are selecting a diode which is made up of silicon. So, as we are already aware of the fact that the cut-in voltage for silicon is 0.7. So, before this 0.7 in the characteristic itself we can say that before 0.7 the current is 0. The current ID in the diode increases when the input applied voltage is greater than Vk, which is a cut-in voltage. So, this we can assume here that this there is a battery which is equivalent, means the battery is opposing the applied voltage and the battery is opposing up to a voltage of 0.7 which is a cut-in voltage for silicon. So, we have the first battery. After that this characteristics, this is having some slope. So, this is having some finite resistance. Finite resistance, that means this average resistance or some AC average resistance, although we are aware of the fact that during the forward bias p-n junction the value of this average resistance is very small. So, this will have a slight linear curve here. After that we are just connecting a ideal diode in series with the average resistance and a battery of Vk volt. So, these are the components of a piecewise linear equivalent circuit. So, after that we can say if the characteristics or the specification sheet for a diode is not available, then the average resistance which is Rav can be approximately equal to the dynamic resistance of the diode, which can be represented by a small rd. So, the characteristics will be now up to a voltage of 0.7 it will resist, and after that the piecewise linear characteristics will be something like this, having a slope. So, that is why we have a resistance of Rav. So, this is the first approximation or this is the equivalent representation for the diode. Next, in the simplified model, this model is basically used in many numerical problems, many electronic circuits in which the diode is replaced by a battery which is the Vk, which is known as the cut-in voltage for the diode. Let us say for silicon it is 0.7 and for germanium this Vk is 0.3. After that, in series with a ideal diode. Now we have neglected the RAV, which is the average resistance of the diode. Why we have neglected? We have just assumed that this resistance RAV, this is very small in comparison with the other resistances available in the network. So if we use this small approximation that our network resistance, other resistance in the network, these are of the order of, let us say, kilo ohms, and this RAV, this is quite small, maybe somewhat 10 to 100 ohms. So we can neglect this RAV. So if this RAV is neglected, means if RAV is 0, then this curve will become a straight line, something like this, and we have a Vk which is 0.7 for silicon. So here we just neglect RAV, so this RAV is just short circuited because the RAV value is 0. So now we can use this equivalent, means a battery of 0.7 volt and an ideal diode instead of a diode, when we will use the simplified model in most of the numericals. So here it is, means we can say the RAV, the average resistance, is sufficiently small to be ignored in comparison with the other elements of the network, which is, we are talking about capital R in network. Next, after that we have the ideal approximation. So the ideal approximation says that the cut-in voltage of the diode is negligibly small, means Vk is 0. How this approximation is true? When the other voltage applied in the networks are very large. So in comparison with the applied voltage, we can neglect the cut-in voltage along with the previous assumption, which is the network resistances, our network, which is very high in comparison with the average resistance of the diode. So in this ideal approximation, we are using two approximations, that first is the network resistances are very high and the network voltages that what we are applying, that are also very large. So the characteristics will be somewhat shifted towards left and this will become an ideal characteristic, something like this. Means whenever the applied voltage to the diode is greater than 0, means if the value is, let us say, 0.001, so at that particular voltage the diode will be on, and whenever the voltage is less than 0, the diode will be off and the current will be 0, which can be clearly seen from these characteristics. So we can say it is fairly safe to say that the simplified equivalent model will be employed most frequently in the analysis of electronic systems, whereas the ideal diode is frequently applied in the analysis of power supply systems, where the large voltages are encountered. So these three approximations can be used during the analysis of the electronic circuits. So means we are using the second approximation, the simplified model, mostly in the series parallel connection of the diodes. That will be the next topic for the lecture. And the ideal approximation we are using somewhere in the rectifier circuits, where we are assuming that our diode is ideal, means the cut-in voltage is 0 and we can say the average resistance offered by the diode is also 0, because it will reduce the complexity in while we are performing some calculations. Now, we have the breakdown mechanism. So, first of all, what is breakdown? So, breakdown is when we are applying a reverse voltage to a PN junction diode. So, it has been seen that current basically is constant, current is constant of the order of microampere, which can be seen with the help of this particular characteristics. Something like this. This is of the order of microampere. So, what happen is, if we are increasing this reverse voltage in a negative direction, means very high reverse voltage is applied to a PN junction diode, then what happens, there is a sharp change in the characteristics, something like this. The current increases sharply like this in a negative direction, and what happen is this current is basically increase very rapidly in a direction opposite to that of the positive voltage region. So, this is known as the breakdown mechanism. So, again there is a some safe current is there. So, up to the safe current, the diode is basically means there will not be a breakdown, but the current increases sharply. But after we are increasing, let us say more voltage in a reverse bias direction, the current increases sharply. We can see that the reverse bias potential that results in this dramatical change in the characteristics is called the breakdown potential, and it is given by VBV, something like this. We can see VBV is this, this is a reverse bias voltage. So, this IS, we are already aware that for germanium it is of the order of microampere and nanoampere for silicon. So, this current is basically constant up to a certain voltage, but once this breakdown voltage reaches, then what happens is there is a sharp change in the characteristics and the current increases sharply, something like this. So, if we are using the safe region for this reverse bias characteristics, so if we are using this particular region, so this region is supposed to be as a Zener region, and this can be the maximum Zener current. We will see the application of this particular region is a Zener diode. So, this is the maximum Zener current. If we are applying voltage further in a reverse bias direction, so what will happen is that this junction will break down and this diode will not regain its original shape. So, the breakdown voltage basically depends on the width of the depletion region. Now, the width of the depletion region depends upon many factors. So, one factor is the doping profile. As we are increasing the doping profile, the width of the depletion region decreases. So, this is the one factor, and the next factor is the temperature also. As we are increasing the temperature, so the depletion region become narrow, means the conductivity increases. So, we can say there are two processes based on this junction breakdown due to the increase in reverse bias voltage, and these processes are supposed to be as the avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown. So, this we can see that we have a PN junction diode. This is P type, this is N type. P type is connected to negative of the battery and N type is connected to positive of the battery. So, once this situation is the reverse bias situation. So, in P type we have holes as majority and in N type we have electrons as majority. So, what will happen is means due to this there is a formation of ions also. So, these are negative ions and these are positive ions, and this whole region is called as the depletion region, if let us say W is the width of depletion region. So, as we will increase the doping profile, the width of depletion region reduces. So, first is the avalanche breakdown now. Now, why this avalanche breakdown occurs? As we are increasing the voltage in the reverse bias direction, so due to the increase in the voltage, what happen is the velocity of the minority charge carrier increases, because we are already aware of the fact that in a reverse bias PN junction diode only the minority current flows, IS, that is also in a negative direction as per the diode equation. So, as the reverse bias increases, the velocity of the minority charge carrier increases. Now, due to the increase in the velocity of the minority charge carrier, the associated kinetic energy, which is given by K equals to half mv square. So, as we are increasing velocity, the kinetic energy increases. So, now this kinetic energy is basically responsible for ionization. Due to this increase in the kinetic energy, this kinetic energy will break the bonds, and due to that a number of free charge carriers will be generated, and due to the increase in number of free charge carriers, we can say that the current increases drastically. So, here we can say that as reverse bias increases, the associated velocity for the minority charge carrier that also increases, resulting in the increase of kinetic energy. Now, this kinetic energy is responsible for the ionization process. Ionization process, and due to that ID increases, the diode current increases. So, this is the whole process for the avalanche breakdown. So, here we can again see that the ionization process will result whereby the valence electrons absorb sufficient energy. This energy comes from the kinetic energy, and due to this they leave the parent atom. The valence electrons leaves the parent atom, and these additional carriers can then help the ionization process to the point where a high avalanche current is established. So, these charge carrier basically results in a increase in current in a negative direction, and due to this we can say the avalanche breakdown region can be determined. Now, this avalanche breakdown region we will see with the help of characteristics that this is I versus V. We have seen that current is initially constant, something like this, and after that increases. This is VBV, let us say. So, this avalanche breakdown region, this region can be brought closer to the vertical axis, means this can become closer to this vertical axis by increasing the doping levels. Means if we are increasing the doping profile of the p type and n type material, then we will be able to shift this curve towards right side, towards this side. Next effect is basically known as Zener breakdown. Now, how does Zener breakdown occur? This Zener breakdown is basically due to the heavily doping. Means when the doping is high, what happen is due to the heavy doping, the width of depletion region that will become narrow, and due to the narrow depletion region, the electric field between the which is existing between the means inside the depletion region, that will become very intense. Now, this electric field which is very intense, that is now responsible for ionization of bond, means the valence electron will leave the parent atom. Now, due to the increase in the number of free electrons, the current increases in a opposite direction. So, this phenomena basically occurs at lower voltage, whereas the avalanche breakdown phenomena occurs at high voltage. So, here we can see that as the doping profile increases, so due to the increasing doping profile, the width of depletion region that decreases, and due to the decrease in depletion width, the electric field, this will become intense, and this intense electric field is now responsible for the ionization. Process, and due to this ionization process, a large number of charge carriers are generated, and due to this there is an increase in current in the negative direction. So, this is a region which is determined by the Zener diode. So, we can here see that this Zener breakdown basically occurs at the low level of voltages such as -5 volt, and again this contributes to a sharp change in the IV characteristics of the diode. It occurs because of the strong electric field in the region of the junction that can disrupt, that can break the bonding force within the atom and generate the carriers. This is an important thing. Although the Zener breakdown mechanism is a significant contributor only at low level of breakdown voltage, whereas at high voltages we have the avalanche breakdown effect. So, we can say the sharp change in characteristics at any level is called as the Zener region, and the diodes employing this unique portion of the characteristics of a PN junction are called Zener diode. I think I've already told that if this is a characteristics I versus V, and we are employing this particular region, this is called as the Zener region. The quality of this region is that as we are the current increases in this particular direction, but what happen is the voltage is constant. So, we can utilize this particular region in the regulator circuit. Now, the regulator circuits are the circuits which will provide a constant voltage irrespective of the variation in the input voltage or irrespective in the variation of load. Their aim is to provide the constant voltage. So, here we will be utilizing this region, Zener region, to deliver a constant voltage of Vz. Now, this reverse breakdown voltage of a semiconductor diode will increase or decrease with respect to temperature. It has been seen that up to -5 voltage, it shows NTC, which is called as negative temperature coefficient. Negative temperature coefficient. Now, what is this negative temperature coefficient? Is any quantity which decreases on increasing a variable. Let us say here we are talking about the breakdown voltage, let us say VBV. So, this VBV decreases on increasing the temperature. As we are increasing temperature, the reverse breakdown voltage increases. So, this behavior is basically seen when we are working below a voltage of -5. So, below the voltage of -5, the region is Zener region, or the breakdown effect is known as Zener breakdown effect. Whereas, if we are working above the voltage of -5, let us say -5 to -8, the another phenomena which is known as avalanche breakdown effect will come into the picture. So, it has been seen that above this above -5 voltage, it shows PTC behavior, PTC, which stands for positive temperature coefficient, means for avalanche breakdown it has been seen that VBR, this VB reverse breakdown voltage, it increases on increasing the temperature. So, this is called as PTC behavior, positive temperature coefficient, which is corresponding to avalanche breakdown. So, this is the difference between the temperature effect on avalanche breakdown and Zener breakdown. Now, here we can see clearly the characteristics for both the breakdowns, means up to a voltage of -5 at this particular voltage will have a breakdown which is known as Zener breakdown, and after that, means if we are increasing voltage further, the breakdown voltage further increase, then the another phenomena which will be known as avalanche breakdown effect will come into the picture. So, as temperature increases, this curve will shift towards this side, whereas avalanche breakdown voltage will shift towards this side on increasing the temperature. So, this is the effect of temperature variation, and this voltage is now increases. Now, this current is also in the microampere. We are already aware in a negative direction because we have a saturation current, and this region is called as the Zener region. So, this Zener region can be utilized for the Zener diode, and this characteristics, this is a forward bias characteristics which is very similar, means up to a voltage, let us say Vk or V gamma cut in voltage, the current is 0, and after this particular voltage the current increases exponentially as per the equation which is given by ID equals to Is e raised to power Vd by nVt minus 1, means the relationship between current and voltage is exponentially. The current increases exponentially as we are increasing the forward voltage. So, this is a comparison chart between the Zener breakdown and the avalanche breakdown. So, first is for the Zener breakdown, means this Zener breakdown can be observed up to a voltage of 5 to 8 volt, means if the diode voltage Vd, so if it is between -5 and -8, the breakdown is called as Zener breakdown, whereas if we are moving further, so the effect is known as avalanche breakdown effect. Next, the Zener breakdown effect is due to the increase in electric field, due to the intense electric field, whereas in avalanche breakdown this occurred due to the increase in the velocity of the minority carriers. Due to that, the kinetic energy was increased, and this increased kinetic energy was responsible for the breaking of bonds, and due to that the current increases sharply. This was the phenomena for avalanche breakdown. Next, we have the VI characteristics with Zener. The breakdown is very sharp. We have already observed this effect in the last slide, that for Zener the characteristics was sharp, whereas for avalanche the characteristics was not so sharp in comparison with the Zener. So, this is for avalanche, that the VI characteristic with the avalanche breakdown increases gradually. It is not as sharp as with the Zener breakdown. Next, the breakdown voltages decrease with increase in temperature. This is referred as the NTC, negative temperature coefficient, and here the breakdown voltage is basically increased as we are increasing the temperature. So, it is referred as PTC, positive temperature coefficient. So, we are utilizing this breakdown phenomena, this Zener region, for the Zener diode as a voltage regulator, means when we want constant voltage to be delivered to the load, we will be using the Zener diode and will be utilizing the Zener region. So, these are the application areas for the breakdown. These are the references, and thank you so much.